Hey, so this is our Q4 holiday PPC checklist for this year. Basically, everything we run through with clients ahead of Q4 between now and January. And I wanted to record this because this year is a little different. There's a new Google Ads bidding change that dropped in August, and it changes how much attention your bids need this quarter. So I'm walking through the 5 phases we use, phase by phase, and you can steal whatever is useful for your own account. So why this year needs more attention? Okay, so first, quick context. Back on August 17th, Google changed how target CPA and target ROAS bidding works. And the short version is you can't just set a target and walk away hoping that Google will find the most efficient conversions first for you. It's going to need a lot more monitoring now. So in the past, Google would find the cheapest conversions first, which was great for those with lower budgets. So you might have set a ROAS target of 300%, but you might have been achieving 600%. Well, that is no longer. And so starting August 17th, we'll have to be a bit more proactive with adjusting those bids. And here's how we are handling it. Before touching your bids, first, obviously understanding your break-even ROAS or CPA. A lot of advertisers actually don't know these numbers, and it's really important because this will guide how you bid with your campaigns. And a lot of people are actually aiming for too high of a ROAS or too low of a CPA without really understanding that they could actually get more volume if they adjusted those targets. But of course, you still want to be profitable as well. So just understanding that before making your adjustments. So the first step then is to pull 2 to 3 years of monthly history and set your target slightly more aggressive than that average. Um, Slightly more aggressive because in most cases, want to outperform last year's results. So you can start with an aggressive bid. And then if you are seeing traffic slip and ad spend going down, then you can try to ease it back. If that doesn't work, then you might want to test maximize conversion value or maximize conversions in campaigns where your targets are slipping. So here's the roadmap, 5 phases, September through January. Phase 1 is the pre-holiday audit. So that's September into early October. Phase 2 is creative and campaign setup. That's mid to late October. Then phase 3 is peak execution. That's November through Black Friday and Cyber Monday week. And then phase 4 is post Cyber Week and wrap up those last minute sales in December. And then in January's phase 5, kind of taking a step back and recapping all that happened and learning from what you did and adjusted and how that performed. So let's start with phase 1, pre-holiday audit and foundation. So obviously knowing your profitable ROAS or CPAs before adjusting any bids, I will drop links to my blog posts that discuss how to figure that out. If you don't know it, there's a calculator which you can use to walk through what yours is. And then second is the historical bidding review that I mentioned earlier. So again, pulling 2 to 3 years of monthly averages, figuring out where you were at last year in November, for example, and then set your targets slightly more aggressive for 2026. Third, budget and tracking. So for e-commerce especially, you'll likely see great results during November, Black Friday, Cyber Monday week. And so just making sure that you have sufficient budgets and have discussed those with everyone's on board for that. And then obviously auditing your GA4, Google Ads, all the pixels, make sure they're firing correctly. There can be a lot of issues with tracking, with things breaking down as the website is updated. So just making sure you're all set there so that you're not struggling and giving the algorithm bad data during your key period. And then, so the last point here is for anyone who's managing ad grants accounts, just making sure you are compliant heading into the holiday season. So some of those criteria include 5% or better click-through rate, 2+ ad groups per campaign, no single word keywords, and precise geo-targeting. So check all of that before ramping up your holiday volume. So phase 2, creative and campaign setup, is mid to late October. I do recommend that you start working on your assets and submitting them early. There can be a lot of approval issues and just making sure that everything's in place so that you can just easily activate it. So what I will do is upload my assets, make sure that they're approved and pause them, and then just activate them when they need to go live. I found a lot of success with dynamic countdowns and promo copy. So a dynamic countdown can help count down to a sale or an end date that you've specified, and it kind of creates that sense of urgency. So I would play around with that. Also making sure that you're auditing your feeds for PMAX and shopping. So making sure that things are not disapproved, checking on any out of stock flags, missing identifiers, and then, if you need to update any holiday attributes. One cool feature that a lot of advertisers don't know about is the Product Studio. It's a free AI tool in Merchant Center that can place your products in holiday scenes and can clean up backgrounds and improve your image. So play around with that and see if that could be something that can help you enhance your feed. There's also a really cool Performance Max feature that's not available to everyone yet, but I have seen in some accounts where as you go to edit a Performance Max campaign, you might see the option to auto-generate seasonal ad copy. So I would play around with that as well. And then when you're writing promo ad copy, title case I found works best and lead with your number. So an example is 30% off site-wide. It tends to work better than burying your discount mid-sentence. Moving on to phase 3, peak execution. So this is the big one, November through Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Raise your daily budget caps on anything that's converting well. You don't want your top campaigns running dry midday during a traffic spike. And set up seasonality adjustments for anything like quick sales. So like a few sales that are just a few days long. And this helps you tell Google's algorithm to expect this short-term spike without messing up those longer-term learnings. Make sure that you defend your brand terms. So this is around the time that a lot of advertisers get more aggressive and may launch new conquesting campaigns bidding on your brand terms. So just make sure to check auction insights for new players that might be impacting your impression share. Watch your inventory. If something goes out of stock, pause those ads. No point in paying for clicks that somebody can't actually buy. And then a quick nonprofit flag. Giving Tuesday lands right in this window, just after Cyber Monday. So for many nonprofits, this is their best day of the year for fundraising, and so make sure that you give it its own dedicated campaign and a landing page, and that's really all I'll say on the nonprofits here. There's a lot more to it, but I think that would be its own separate video. Phase 4 is post Cyber Week and wrap up. So once the big sale weekend's over, your messaging needs to shift here. So some things that you can play around with would be shipping cutoff urgency. So I've seen success with guaranteed delivery by Christmas kind of thing. And then once those cutoffs pass, you can pivot again to like digital gift cards, type messaging for anyone who's like super late to the game with gift giving that they can download in a style that you pre-create for them. And then watch also for the self-gifting rush after Christmas, and then scale back your campaign slowly with the holiday messaging and headlines, and then launch any clearance and New Year offers for anyone, redeeming gift cards. At this point, you'll probably be easing your bid targets and also budgets back down to normal. And it's really easy to overspend into a slower January if you leave everything as is. But this is also generally when your performance starts to slip. So just make sure that you're mindful of all of that and making those adjustments. One more quick note on nonprofits. Year-end giving is huge. December is probably, with November, the biggest month for the nonprofits in terms of fundraising. So year-end giving also typically needs to stay live all the way through December 31st. And leading with tax deadline urgency has worked in the past. So we are now in phase 5. The holiday rush is over. We're in early January. So this is where we recap, pull a Q4 recap for your accounts, spend, ROAS, and CPAs, and then you want to understand year-over-year comparisons. I like to write down what actually worked, any creative themes or bid strategy changes, so you're not starting from zero next year, and have kind of that guide to work with. In January, you want to reset your budgets and bid strategies back to a steady state. Obviously, archive anything holiday specific. Sometimes image extensions or holiday callouts will get lost in the post-holiday rush and stay through January, but this is the time to update all of that and clean up a bit. And that's it. That's the whole checklist. 5 phases, September through January. If you want the actual interactive version with the boxes, I'll get that linked below as well. Thanks for watching and good luck.